Our past holds incredible power over us. It shapes how we see ourselves, how we interact with others, and how we approach life's challenges. But for many of us, the past doesn't just shape us, it shackles us. Experiences that we've lived through, whether they're mistakes we've made, pain we've endured, or regrets we hold on to, can feel like a weight we carry around every single day. Sometimes it's not even something we're fully aware of. It's just there, quietly influencing every decision we make, every step we take, and every opportunity we hesitate to embrace. Think about how often the past sneaks into your present. Maybe it's the sting of a failure that keeps whispering you're not good enough, or the memory of a broken relationship that makes you afraid to trust again. Perhaps it's a decision you made long ago that you're still punishing yourself for. It's as though the echoes of yesterday refuse to let you move forward freely. But here's the truth we often overlook. The past is just a story. It's a series of moments that happen, yes, but they don't have to define you. What happened yesterday doesn't dictate what you're capable of today or who you can become tomorrow. Yet we often hand over that power. We let our past mistakes, our pain, or even the opinions of others build walls around us. And as long as those walls are up, we limit our potential. We stay stuck. What's fascinating is that the past has no actual hold on you unless you allow it. It's not a living thing that can physically stop you from changing, growing, or thriving. Its power comes from the meaning you give it. If you look at it as a source of shame or defeat, it will keep you trapped. But if you decide to see it as a lesson, as something that happened for you rather than to you, everything shifts. It's not about pretending the past didn't happen. It's about acknowledging it, owning it, and then making the conscious choice not to let it dictate your future. Because here's the secret: the freedom you're searching for isn't out there somewhere, it's inside you. It's in the decision to stop carrying that weight, to stop believing that your worth is tied to what you've been through, to stop replaying old stories that no longer serve you. So I want to leave you with this: your past might have shaped your journey so far, but it doesn't get to decide the rest of your story. You do. And when you take that power back, when you release yourself from the grip of yesterday, you'll discover that the world starts to see you differently too. That's when you'll realize you've been free all along. That one of the most subtle yet powerful ways our past holds us back is through the beliefs it creates about ourselves. These beliefs aren't always loud or obvious. They work quietly in the background, shaping how we see the world and what we think is possible for us. And often they're rooted in fear. Maybe you failed at something once and now you believe you're not good enough. Maybe someone said you didn't have what it takes, and now that voice lives rent-free in your mind, influencing every decision you make. The tricky thing about these self-limiting beliefs is how convincing they are. They feel like facts. If you've been telling yourself for years that you're not smart enough, talented enough, or worthy enough, those words start to sound like the truth. But they're not. They're just thoughts that were planted by an experience in the past, reinforced over time, and accepted as your reality. And as long as you hold on to them, they become a ceiling that keeps you from reaching higher. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're trying to climb a mountain, but you've been carrying a backpack full of rocks. These rocks are the stories you've been telling yourself: I can't do this, I'll never succeed, or people like me don't get second chances. Each of those rocks weighs you down, makes the climb harder, and eventually you start to believe that the mountain itself is impossible to conquer. But the mountain isn't the problem. It's the weight you're carrying. And the most empowering realization is that you packed that bag you chose to carry those beliefs, and you have the power to unpack it. So how do you break free? It starts with awareness. Take a moment to ask yourself, what beliefs about myself am I carrying because of my past? Are they truly mine, or are they stories someone else handed to me? When you begin to question those beliefs, you loosen their grip. You start to see them for what they are: just stories, not facts. The next step is to replace those beliefs with new ones. It's not enough to simply reject the negative. You have to consciously choose something better. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, try saying, I'm still learning, and that's okay. Instead of thinking, I always mess things up, remind yourself, I'm capable of growing and improving. These shifts may feel small at first, but over time they create a new narrative, one that's rooted in possibility rather than limitation. And here's the most beautiful part: when you start to rewrite your beliefs, your actions follow. You take risks you never would have taken before. You show up in ways that surprise even yourself. And when others see you stepping into your potential, they can't help but take notice. Confidence is magnetic. And nothing builds confidence like shedding the lies you've been telling yourself and stepping fully into the truth of who you are. So let me leave you with this. The beliefs that hold you back are not permanent. They're not etched in stone. They're just stories you've outgrown. The moment you decide to let them go, you create space for something greater. You create space for the version of you that's been waiting to emerge all along. Letting go of the past is one of the most freeing and transformative decisions you can make. But let's be honest, it's not easy. The past has a way of holding on tightly, wrapping itself around your heart and your mind. Sometimes we cling to it even when it hurts, even when we know it's holding us back. Why? Because it's familiar. It's the story we know. And there's a strange kind of comfort in staying within the lines of that old story, no matter how painful it is. But holding on to the past is like gripping a rope that's burning your hands. The tighter you hold on, the more it hurts. And yet we tell ourselves that letting go is too hard. We fear what might happen if we release it. We wonder, if I let this go, who will I be? What will I have left? The truth is, letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending the past didn't happen. It means releasing the grip it has on you so you can finally be free to move forward. Forgiveness is a key part of this process, both forgiving others and forgiving yourself. Let's talk about forgiving others for a moment. When someone has hurt you deeply, forgiveness can feel impossible. It might even feel like you're letting them off the hook. But here's the reality: forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. Carrying around anger, resentment, or bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It eats away at your peace, your happiness, your ability to truly live in the present. Forgiveness doesn't mean you're saying what they did was okay. It means you're choosing not to let it control you anymore. And then there's self-forgiveness, which can be even harder. We're often our own harshest critics. We replay our mistakes, our failures, our regrets over and over again. We punish ourselves long after the moment has passed. But think about this: if you've been holding on to guilt or shame, ask yourself, what purpose is this serving? Guilt is only useful if it helps us learn and grow. Beyond that, it becomes a weight, a prison we build for ourselves. And the key to unlocking that prison is self-compassion. Remind yourself that you are human, that mistakes are part of the journey, and that you are worthy of love and redemption just like everyone else. When you let go, truly let go, you create space for something new. You begin to realize that you are not defined by what happened to you or by the mistakes you've made. You are defined by what you do with those experiences. You can take the lessons, the growth, and the wisdom and leave the rest behind. You don't have to carry the pain, the anger, or the shame anymore. You can choose freedom. And here's the incredible part: when you release that weight, people will notice. They'll see the lightness in your step, the peace in your presence, and the authenticity in the way you show up. Letting go not only transforms you, it inspires others. It gives them permission to start their own journey of release and healing. So let me leave you with this: letting go is not about erasing the past. It's about reclaiming your power over it. It's about saying, I will not let what's behind me define what's ahead of me. And when you make that choice, you'll find that the freedom you've been searching for was within you all along, Doc. When you decide to let go of the past, something remarkable happens. You give yourself permission to redefine who you are. You're no longer tied to the mistakes you've made, the pain you've experienced, or the labels that others have placed on you. It's as though you've been walking through life carrying a name tag that says, hi, I'm defined by past, and now you finally get to rip it off and write something new. But here's the challenge: stepping into a new identity feels uncomfortable at first. It's easy to say, I want to be free of my past, but what does that actually look like? Who are you without the baggage, the excuses, the old stories? That's where the real work begins. It's about consciously deciding how you want to show up in the world moving forward. One of the first steps is realizing that you're not obligated to be the person you've always been. Just because people know you as someone who's quiet, fearful, or stuck doesn't mean you have to stay that way. You have the power to redefine yourself at any moment. But this doesn't mean you're pretending to be someone you're not. It's about uncovering the version of you that's been buried under doubt, fear, and self-limiting beliefs. Think of it like clearing out a cluttered room. Over the years, we accumulate so much mental and emotional stuff, old identities, roles we've played, and habits we've clung to. Clearing out that space allows you to fill it with something meaningful. What kind of person do you want to be? What qualities do you want to embody? Take a moment to imagine the best version of yourself, not based on anyone else's expectations, but based on who you truly want to be. The next step is to act as though you already are that person. If you want to be confident, start walking, speaking, and making decisions like someone who is confident. If you want to be brave, start taking small risks that challenge your comfort zone. This isn't about faking it, it's about practicing your new identity until it becomes second nature. Because here's the truth, you become what you repeatedly do. And yes, people will notice, some may resist your transformation at first. They might say things like, you've changed, or that's not who you are. And you know what? That's okay. People who are used to the old version of you might struggle to accept the new you, but that's their journey, not yours. The only opinion that truly matters is your own. When you embrace your new identity, you send a powerful message to the world, I am not my past. I am not my mistakes. I am not the stories other people have written about me. This kind of authenticity is magnetic. It draws people to you not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And realness is irresistible. So let me leave you with this: redefining yourself isn't about becoming someone different. It's about shedding everything that isn't truly you and stepping boldly into the person you were always meant to be. And when you do that, you'll find that the world can't help but take notice. Something amazing happens when you begin to free yourself from the grip of your past. The world starts to respond differently to you. It's as though the energy you once used to hold on to pain, regret, or self-doubt is suddenly released, and people can sense it. They're drawn to you not because of what you've been through, but because of the transformation you've undergone. It's like a light that begins to shine from within, and that light is hard to ignore. Think about it. When someone walks into a room with confidence, peace, and authenticity, you can feel it, can't you? It's not about what they're wearing or the words they say, is something deeper. It's in the way they carry themselves, the way they look people in the eye, and the way they engage with the world. That kind of presence is magnetic, and it comes from a place of true freedom, a freedom you can only achieve when you've made peace with your past. The reason this is so powerful is that most people are stuck. They're carrying their own burdens, dealing with their own insecurities, and often they don't even realize it. When they see someone who is broken free, it inspires them. It gives them hope that they can do the same. Your transformation becomes a kind of silent permission for others to begin their own journey. But what makes this even more profound is that it's not about trying to impress anyone. You're not chasing attention or approval. You're simply living in alignment with who you truly are, free from the fear of judgment or failure. And when you live that way, people can't help but be drawn to it. They see something in you that they want for themselves, a sense of peace, purpose, and authenticity. This shift doesn't just impact strangers or acquaintances, it transforms your relationships too. When you're no longer weighed down by the pain or mistakes of the past, you show up differently. You're more present, more open, and more connected to the people around you. The walls you once built to protect yourself start to come down, and in their place, bridges are built, bridges that draw people closer. And here's the beauty of it: the people who are drawn to you in this state are often the ones who align with the real you. They're not coming into your life because of a mask you're wearing or a role you're playing. They're coming because they're attracted to your authenticity. These are the kinds of relationships that are deep, meaningful, and fulfilling. Whether it's friendships, partnerships, or professional connections, the quality of your relationships improves when you step into your true self. Of course, not everyone will understand or support your transformation. Some people might feel threatened by your growth, especially if it shines a light on areas where they feel stuck. And that's okay. Your journey isn't about convincing others to change. It's about leading by example. Those who are ready will follow, and those who aren't will still benefit from seeing what's possible. So let me leave you with this. When you let go of your past and step fully into who you're meant to be, you become a magnet, not because you're trying to draw people in, but because your light is too bright to ignore. And in doing so, you not only change your own life, you inspire others to start changing theirs too. Taking practical steps to move forward from your past is where real change begins. It's one thing to understand the importance of letting go, but it's another to actually put that understanding into action. The truth is, transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, a journey, and it requires consistent effort. But the beauty of that journey is that each small step you take brings you closer to the freedom and the future you've been longing for. The first and perhaps most powerful step is self-awareness. You can't let go of what you don't acknowledge. Take some time to reflect on what's really holding you back. Is it a specific memory, a failure, or maybe a decision you regret? Or is it a pattern, a habit, or a belief that keeps playing on repeat in your mind? Sometimes just naming the things that have been keeping you stuck can feel like a release. It's like shining a light into a dark corner of your mind and saying, I see you and I'm ready to let you go. Journaling can be an incredible tool for this. Writing down your thoughts and feelings allows you to process them in a safe and private space. It helps you make sense of what's going on inside and can often reveal truths you didn't realize were there. The act of putting pen to paper can be surprisingly therapeutic. It's as though you're taking the chaos in your mind and turning it into something tangible that you can understand and work with. Another important step is seeking support. You don't have to navigate this journey alone. Whether it's a trusted friend, a family member, or a therapist, sharing your story with someone who will listen without judgment can be deeply healing. Sometimes we just need to be heard. And other times we need a fresh perspective, someone to help us see our situation in a new light, or to remind us of our strength when we've forgotten it. Mindfulness and meditation are also powerful tools for moving forward. They teach you to be present, to focus on the here and now rather than getting lost in the what ifs and if onlys of the past. When you learn to quiet your mind and simply be, you start to realize that the past doesn't have to define you. You're not your mistakes, your regrets, or even your pain. You're something much bigger, much more resilient, and much more capable of growth. Setting new goals is another key step. When you're focused on where you're going, it's easier to let go of where you've been. These goals don't have to be big or life-changing. They just need to be meaningful to you. Maybe it's learning a new skill, reconnecting with a passion, or simply committing to show up for yourself every day. Whatever it is, let it be a reminder that your future is still unwritten and full of possibility. And as you take these steps, remember to be patient with yourself. Healing and growth are not linear processes. There will be days when you feel like you've made incredible progress and others when it feels like you're back at square one. That's okay. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. So let me leave you with this: moving forward isn't about erasing the past. It's about building a new foundation on top of it. It's about using what you've learned to create a life that reflects who you are now, not who you used to be. And as you take those practical steps, you'll find that the freedom you seek isn't somewhere out there. It's been within you all along, waiting for you to claim IT. When you break free from your past, redefine yourself, and start taking intentional steps forward, something extraordinary happens. You begin to inspire others in ways you never imagined. You become a living example of what's possible, a beacon of hope for those who are still trapped in their own struggles, unable to see a way out. And the beauty of this isn't just in what you achieve, it's in how your transformation creates a ripple effect, touching the lives of those around you. Think about the people who have inspired you in your own life. Maybe it was someone who overcame adversity, someone who turned their pain into purpose, or someone who simply showed up with courage and authenticity. Chances are it wasn't their perfection that inspired you, it was their perseverance. It was the way they rose above their challenges, the way they refused to let their circumstances define them. And now you have the opportunity to be that for someone else. The power of your story lies in its truth. You don't have to be perfect to inspire others. In fact, it's often your imperfections, your vulnerability, and your willingness to share the real raw parts of your journey that resonate most deeply. When you stand in your truth and say, this is where I've been and this is how I've grown, you give others permission to do the same. You show them that it's okay to struggle, to stumble, and to start over. You show them that they too are capable of transformation. This isn't about seeking attention or validation. It's about living authentically and allowing your actions to speak louder than words. When people see you showing up differently, more confident, more grounded, and more at peace, they can't help but take notice. And as they watch you navigate your life with intention and purpose, they start to believe that maybe they can do it too. Your influence extends beyond words. It's in how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and how you face challenges. When you lead by example, you inspire those around you to think differently, to believe in themselves, and to take steps toward their own growth. You may never know the full extent of your impact, how a conversation, a kind gesture, or even your quiet resilience might spark change in someone else. But rest assured, the ripple effect is real. And here's the thing, inspiring others doesn't mean you have to be on a stage or in the spotlight. It can happen in the simplest moments. It might be a coworker who sees how you handle setbacks with grace. It might be a friend who notices the way you've stopped letting fear control you. Or it might be a stranger who feels encouraged by your smile, your kindness, or your presence. Sometimes the smallest acts can leave the biggest impressions. But the most profound part of this journey is that as you inspire others, you're also continuing to grow yourself. Seeing the impact of your transformation reminds you of how far you've come and strengthens your commitment to keep moving forward. It's a cycle of growth, inspiration, and connection, a cycle that has the potential to create lasting change, not just in your life, but in the lives of countless others. So let me leave you with this: your journey isn't just about you. It's about the lives you touch along the way, the hope you ignite in others, and the legacy you leave behind. When you break free from your past and step boldly into who you were meant to be, you don't just transform your own life, you become a catalyst for transformation in the world around you. And that perhaps is the greatest gift of all. Stepping into a future free from your past is a powerful declaration of faith, not just in the world, but in yourself. It's a statement that says, I am worthy of new beginnings. I am capable of creating a life filled with meaning, joy, and purpose. And as you take those first steps, you'll discover that the most exciting part of the journey is the future you're building, not defined by what you've been through, but by the person you're becoming. The beauty of the future is that it's completely unwritten. No matter how heavy your past has been, no matter how many mistakes or challenges you faced, you still have the power to create a life that reflects your dreams and values. It's easy to forget that when you're caught in the weight of yesterday, but the truth is, every moment offers a chance to start again. And when you release the hold of the past, you open the door to endless possibilities. Moving forward doesn't mean the journey will always be smooth. There will be obstacles, uncertainties, and moments where doubt creeps in. That's normal. Growth is rarely a straight line. But what changes is your perspective. When you've let go of your past, you approach challenges with a new mindset. Instead of seeing them as proof of your limitations, you begin to see them as opportunities to learn and grow. But don't stop at visualization, start taking action, even if it's small. The key to building a new future is momentum. Every step you take, no matter how tiny, moves you closer to the life you want. It might be having a difficult conversation, making a plan, or simply committing to a healthier habit. Whatever it is, take that first step. And then the next, and the next. Progress, not perfection, is what matters. As you move forward, don't forget to celebrate your growth. Too often, we focus so much on how far we still have to go that we forget to acknowledge how far we've already come. Each milestone, each victory, no matter how small, is a testament to your strength and resilience. Let those moments remind you of what you're capable of and fuel your journey ahead. So let me leave you with this: your past may have shaped you, but it does not define you. Your future is yours to create, and it's full of infinite possibilities. Step into it boldly, knowing that the best is yet to come.